I remember when people used to tell me, Iraq isn't the problem. It's Afghanistan. That's the problem. Or another one, this is a new one you hear lately. Egypt's not the problem. It's not Egypt. The problem is Syria. Syria is the problem. It's as if our brains is one hamster and one little hamster wheel. And we can only afford to have one hamster on one wheel at a time. And as soon as there's two issues, we can't deal with both of them. We can deal with Miley Cyrus doing her grindy dance. And we can deal with every weird, perverse sexual abduction or sexual related murder. Our news is covered with it. But to try to get front page news for Syria and Egypt on the same newspaper, it's tough to do. Our media, we've been convinced by our media that entertainment is news and entertainers' lives are news. So a lot of times really serious news events take a back seat and they convince us, and newscasters sell us entertainment as news. So Syria and Egypt and Palestine, Tibet, a lot of places don't get any news attention. But it doesn't make them any less viable. What's going on in Syria doesn't make the lives of the Egyptians insignificant. It doesn't make the revolution insignificant. It doesn't change anything. We don't have to compare them. We should have enough mental bandwidth to be able to recognize and appreciate what's going on in more than one region at a time. Now, so just because things are horrible in Syria doesn't mean they aren't horrible in Egypt. If there's more people dying, that's horrible. But it doesn't make Egypt's problems nothing. It doesn't turn them into nothing. Okay, so I'm reading in the news that we're getting ready to do some 3-day attack on Syria because they use chemical weapons. I mean, they've been killing people. It's like Syria's killing people. There's death all over the place. But now all of a sudden, because it's chemical, now they've crossed the line, the chemical threshold. Because it's chemical weapons, it's gone too far. We can't allow them. That's just too vulgar. I mean, if you saw a pile of dead bodies, women and children, men, women, and children there, and you were grieving over them and someone said, well, there's a pile of dead bodies, but you see this pile of dead bodies? This is way worse. You know why? They used chemicals. For me, that doesn't make any difference. Everything's a chemical. Gunpowder, chemicals. You mix things together, a lot of people might think that the United States and Israel and Britain are using chemical weapons as we speak. I mean, didn't we use depleted uranium? And don't we use depleted uranium in the field in Afghanistan and Iraq? And I'd heard that Israel used white phosphorus on the Palestinians. So if we were going to use that when chemical weapons are used, we've got to run in there and stop it. We'd have to run into Israel. We'd have to run into our own country. We'd have to invade ourselves. If chemical weapons was the rule, we'd have to go back and not use chemical weapons in Iraq. So, and it's not like we're going over to take over. Apparently, this is just some retribution strike against Syria. What's it even going to do? But don't worry. Now I'm worried that we're going to go in there and we're going to find some way to kill more innocent people. We're going to try to do the right thing, but we're going to be shooting missiles from ships way away. I know they're deadly accurate, but deadly accurate bombs still somehow manage to be deadly and kill lots of innocent women and children, men, women, and children as well. So there's just a whole bunch of bad things. I don't know. Syria is very confusing. Should we be getting involved in all? But for me, it's just the fact that, chemical weapons, time to get to business. Now we've got to show them who's boss. They're using chemical weapons. They can't do that. We can do that. Our allies can do that. Our neighbors can do that. We can do that to people. We just can't have anybody else doing it when we're looking for excuses. When we're looking for excuses to jump in. Like weapons of mass destruction in Iraq that didn't really turn out to be anything. But where is this going to get us? And I can tell you, if we do this, it's going to be a mess, and there's going to be a lot of innocent people dying, and then there's going to be questions about allegiance and who are we helping. Anyway, it's just pretty disgusting to me, and I want to know what people think about it. Do people in the Middle East think it's time we go in there and do something? And do the people in the Middle East, the good people in the Middle East, do they want us to go in? Do they want America to go in and start blowing Syria's infrastructure apart? Is that what we should do, to turn it into the Stone Age so everybody's fighting at the same level? I wonder what kind of chemical weapons we're going to bring to the scene when we start our strike. And what about Assad? Why wouldn't he just leave? He's got all the money, the rich daddy and all the money and all the power. God, why couldn't he just pack up and go? What's wrong with these people? They're nuts. At least that's what I think. Anyway, let me know what you think.